All right, guys. Welcome to episode 4 of Inspiration and Motivation with X. This episode, we're gonna kind of touch on a few different subjects. Put out a poll on Facebook and seeing what kind of things that people would like to talk about. And I've got a number of things: struggling, positive things to do, how to be there for someone, ways to help people. May throw in a little personal stories, showing how I relate. I've been trying to stay away from political stuff just so I keep it from being biased. As I sit here and scroll down the thing, I'm looking at failed marriages, teen drinking, teen pregnancy, sex trafficking, and let's see, we also jump into getting cheated on, how to react to getting cheated on, and independent women, child support, government. Now we're gonna stay away from the political side about it. So let me first start out by saying it's the weekend, and you can't help but love the weekend. You get some time off of work. If you do, you get to kind of relax, spend time with the family, spend some extra time with your kids and stuff like that. So it always makes it nice. And so if we jump straight into this, let's jump into talking about struggling. I mean, at some point in our life, we're all going to go through struggles. I mean, anyone who says they've never struggled at anything that's a lie. I mean, you may have struggled at something that seemed minor to you, but if somebody else was going through that, it would have been something major, or we could have struggled multiple times, or you could be embarrassed to show you struggled. And in all honesty, it's I mean, never be embarrassed of the things you're going through, because sometimes these things happen just to see how you're gonna come out stronger after it, or sometimes they happen and they kind of give you something to build upon and keep going forward on. And so I mean, we've all gone through situations or obstacles or something like that we we think that we're not going to be able to get out of it. And before you know it, and we pray, you keep your hopes up, or you sometimes you gotta go and take on an extra work, or you gotta find a little bit of extra things to do in order to stay positive and keep yourself out of it. And ultimately, the most important thing to do is when you're struggling is you can't be afraid to ask for help. You can't be afraid to let people know, hey, this is what I got going on. If you can you help me? You can't be afraid to um, get that extra hand. A lot of people, go through things and they stay quiet about it. They keep it inside, and boom, what happens usually when you get one thing going wrong, something else happens on top of that, and on top of that, on top of that, and before you know it, you got 10 different things stacked on top of each other, and you're getting overwhelmed. And so that seems to be a problem a lot, is that people they hold things in, they hold their emotions in, they hold their feelings in, and you really can't do that. I mean, I used to be the type of person where I'd have stuff going wrong, and I'd be like, you know what? I'm supposed to be a man. I was raised to be a man, be a strong guy. Men don't cry. Men don't have emotions. Men don't say stuff out loud. And eventually, you realize that. That's why a lot of people go through depression, or a lot of people end up, doing the things that they do, is because they become overwhelmed by the stuff that they've allowed themselves to take on by themselves. I mean, I used to be that guy, especially high school, right after high school, that who yeah, like I could take on everything by myself. I don't need nobody's help. And before long, boom, something happens or something catches you by surprise, and you're like, man, I'm not that strong guy that I thought I was. I'm not Mr. Macho Man, and hey, I need to ask for help. It's like there's things that happen outside of your control that you can't allow yourself to stress over, and then there's things that you ultimately didn't think would have an effect on you and end up having a bigger effect than what you thought. And I'm just here to tell you that if you're going through something, if you're struggling, just stay positive, keep your head up. Find a group of friends that'll help you push through what you got going on. Find a group of friends that will tell you, hey, no matter what it is that you're going through, I've been there, I've done that. Or even if they haven't been there and they've done that, hey, how about them say, hey, you know what? boom, take my hand. We're gonna get through this together because if you were capable of getting through everything by yourself, then I mean, what's the point of having friends? What's the point of having coworkers? And I mean, it's like here. I'm here in AIT, and I'm surrounded by 400 plus battle buddies just in my company alone. Not to mention the ones from the other companies that I know. And it came down to it. We're in the battlefield or we're in the combat zone, and boom, stuff hits the fan. I know that I can count on them because that's what they're here to do. And I mean, you just got to take that same kind of mindset out into the world with whatever you're doing. I mean, maybe you're going to school right now. You got, you got tests coming up, or you got finals coming up, or whatever it is that you got coming up towards your degree, and you're like, you know what, man, this test just kind of got hit by surprise. I studied for it, and boom, man, I didn't do as good as I wanted to do on it. Yes, you got to stay positive, and you gotta keep pushing. I mean, maybe you're overstudying, or maybe you're not studying the right stuff, or maybe somebody has some information that they can give you, and give you a different mindset on it. I mean, I could use the NREMT for an example. I took the NREMT in the civilian world, and it kind of got the best of me a few times that I took it. And I came into the Army. It was a fast-paced class. So I'm like, man, there's no way that I'm gonna get this. I mean, I had the class in the civilian world that I took, and boom, before you know it, boom, I took it first attempt here in the Army, and I fasted. And it's just a matter of, you have to be able to tell yourself that I'm not going to give up and I'm not going to accept defeat. It doesn't matter how many times that you fail, as long as you're trying something different or you're getting better at what it is that you messed up on. I mean, insanity has been said to be doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. But sometimes you do that same thing over and over again, and it takes somebody coming in from the outside and pointing out what it is that you're doing wrong. I mean, let's see, aside from struggle live, I mean, positive things to do. I mean, I've seen a lot of people, my friends, people that I went to school with, people that I'm here in training with. I mean, and I've seen their moods go from, and they were the most positive person in the world, to boom, and they're mad at the world now. And you never know what people are going through. Is just what I'm gonna say about that. I mean, people have numerous issues going on. They're away from their families. They could be having marriage problems. They could be having relationship problems. They could be having stuff going on with their kids, financial issues. I mean, you just never know what somebody's going through. And instead of attacking them for the way they're acting, I mean, see if there's anything you can do to ask them what helps. See if there's anything that you do to help them, because, I mean, think about it. It's when you're going through stuff, you got stuff going on, and even though you don't want people to ask what it is you're going through, you don't want to talk about it. It's still a relieving feeling when somebody does ask you, hey, are you okay? I mean, do you need to talk about anything? Because even though you may or may not talk to them about it, they're still offering that attention. They're still saying, hey, I'm here for you no matter what it is that you need. And I mean, I've seen the strongest of people get knocked down by some of the the saddest things. And it's like, I mean, whether it be a death of a family member, whether it be the sickness, or whether it be, I mean, you got stuff going on. It doesn't bother. Just because it's not bothering you doesn't exactly mean that it's not something that that you can't help with. I mean, every chance I get, if I see somebody struggling or going through something, I'm like, hey, are you okay? I mean, is there anything we can do to help? Or is there anything that, I don't like to see people have stuff going on. And it's like, it's you got to be willing to lend an extra hand. You got to be willing to give that shirt off your back to see somebody else get through, because you never know when you're going to be going through them same things. I mean, it ties into the next issue, how to be there for someone. I mean, back to what I was saying at the beginning, is nobody is going to be able to do anything on their own. There's nobody in this world that can just wake up one day, you know what, boom, I'm going to conquer the world all by myself. I don't need no help. I mean, hey, boom, I got this. No, it's not going to happen like that. I mean, no matter who the person is, Steve Jobs, Donald Trump, Bill Gates, all these people, they have a collective environment of positive people that helped them get to the point they were at. Would it be their financial advisors? Would it be their, CFOs? All the people on their team help them get to that point they're at, and that's what it's about. You have to find yourself a group of friends, find yourself a team, find yourself your little circle that's gonna help you get to where you want to be. If you all share the common goal, there's nothing that's gonna stop you all. I mean, you may have this circle of, let's say, 10 people, but if just one of those people see something differently, you're not gonna be successful. I mean, you got to make the decision either, hey, you know what, let's get this person out of my circle, or you got to make the decision, hey, let's see why this person disagrees and see if we can incorporate some of their ideas into what we're talking about. I mean, I try to be positive. I try to be friendly with most of the people I meet, if not all the people I meet. But there's just some people who aren't going to see eye to eye. There's some people that are going to have issues based on their past or things that they've been through. And, you just got to be able to tell yourself that's okay. I'm not here to make everybody like me. I'm not here to please everybody. I'm here to do what I got to do to take care of my family, to be there for my friends, and to make a legacy for myself. I mean, remember why you're doing what it is that you're doing, or remember why you're on the path that you're going on. I mean, so often we're asked here, what's our motivation, or don't forget why we joined or why we enlisted. And I mean, that's exactly right, because sometimes, boom, no matter what it is that you're going through, or let's say you get hurt, or let's say you're having a bad day, you missed your maxing out your PT test by like 2 push-ups or a sit-up or something like that, and you got to be able to tell yourself, even though I didn't get where I wanted to be, I'm not going to stop here. I'm going to keep working to get better. I'm going to keep working to get stronger. I'm going to keep finding the little things that I can correct. That's going to make a big difference further down the line, because ultimately it's not a matter of, what car you drove, or how much money you had, or what shoes you wore, or if you had that new outfit to go out to the club in, or, I mean, none of that's going to matter once you get to your peak, or once you get past your prime. It's all fine and dandy. Yeah, I mean, I'm just super popular person. I'm the coolest person here around, and I mean, who really cares about that? I mean, once you start settling down, you have a family and stuff like that. You think your kids are gonna be what your 2-year-old kid or your newborn's gonna be like? Oh, look at those shoes mommy or daddy has. No, it's not. That stuff's not important. I mean, you got to start remembering your priorities. Remember why you're here. Remember why you had that child, or even if that's not a good enough reason for you. I mean, for a lot of people, that's their everything. I mean, you gotta be able to put your kids first. You gotta be able to be there for your family, for your marriage, for your relationship, whatever it may be. Once you get your priorities in line, boom, don't fall off that path. I mean, it's so easy to be distracted. It's so easy to get mixed up with different things, and it's a matter of telling yourself, no matter what goes on, I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna quit. I mean, I'm gonna stress this a lot throughout the video, because I hate to see somebody quit on something that they've worked so hard to get to, or quit on something that they've worked so far to come. I mean, you know, we're here towards our last, 5.5, maybe 6 weeks of training, and you know, it's at this point where people will get to that they start feeling like, and I've done everything I can, I'm still not getting it, and it's like, you know what, boom, let's help you. I don't want to see you leave. I don't want to see you come this far through everything that we've been through up until this point and just give up on yourself. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter how you're feeling, but you just gotta be able to. You gotta be able to, boom, channel that inner strength, because commitment, motivation, perseverance, all that stuff. No matter where you think it comes from, it all comes from within. It comes from your heart. All these emotions you have, love, hate, fear, that's all mental. It's all from your heart. It's all from your heart. It's all from your brain. And you got to be able to tell yourself, boom, I'm scared, but hey, you know what? I'm going to try this anyway. Because once you try it, you never know. You may be good at it. I mean, it's like playing a new sport. You may play a new sport for the first time, and you may tell yourself, hey, I'm going to try this sport out. Or, it'd be like me going out and playing tennis. I mean, I've never played tennis my entire life, and I'd be like, you know what, I don't want to play tennis because I don't want to embarrass myself, and I don't want people to make fun of you. But hey, boom, you know what? I'm going to go play tennis. I'm going to try. I'm going to practice. I'm going to get somebody who's played tennis before to come and help me, to teach me the game, and I'm going to be the best that I can be at it. Whether I may not be as good as other people, I may not be good at all, but as long as I'm giving my effort and I'm putting myself in a position to be successful, then that's what I'm happy about. Let's see, ways to help people. I mean, there's a lot of ways to help people. We had a suicide awareness march the other day with our chaplain here on on base, and it really opens up your eyes because it gives you the signs to look for when to see if your battle buddy is going through depression or thinking about committing suicide, or it makes you actually look and see like, hey, you know what? I know somebody that's going through these things or going through these signs, and it worries you because you don't want to see somebody make that step and commit suicide, or I mean, not too long ago there was people that took their own lives, and it ultimately comes down to they end up taking their lives because they're being bullied, or people are making fun of them and stuff like that, and that's just not right. I mean, we can't break down other people to the point where we encourage them or we motivate them to take their own lives, because if we were in their shoes and we felt at that same point, who's to say we wouldn't take our own lives at that? And that's just not the way to go. I mean, I tell myself all the time, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out doing something I love. I'm not going to go out because, somebody told me, hey, maybe I should just kill myself because I'm not good enough. Who are you to say that I'm not good enough? I mean, what am I not good enough at? It's don't let people judge you based on what they see you as, or I mean, even if you've done something to them, don't allow them to tell you how to live your own life, because you're living your life. I mean, maybe they're offering some advice, and take that advice in. Don't be quick to refute that advice, or hey, no, you're wrong. Don't tell me what to do. Stop telling me how to live. I can live my own life. No. That's not the way to do it at all. You have to be willing to accept the constructive criticism when somebody's like, hey, hey, I noticed you over there. I mean, if you try doing this differently, it's helped me, because, what if they tell you, hey, you know why? I used to be in your same shoes, and this was what helped me. This is what helped me get to this point in my life. It's like, let's say, boom, you just lost your job or layoffs or something like that. Boom, I just got laid off, and, hey, what do you know? I mean, and this older guy I met at the store just came up to me and was like, man, I used to work for that company. Yeah, like, yeah, I used to work there. Well, what happened? Oh, they laid me off. Work got slow. And you never know. He may start telling you, hey, you know what? I was actually laid off too, and I came over here to this company. This is where I'm working now, and I've been here for 10, 15 years. Boom. It just opened up your eyes to a new career option, you know? Or it's like, let's say you're unemployed currently at the moment, and you're looking for work, and that struggle, that's hard. I mean, that's one of the biggest struggles that affects relationships, that affects people's mindsets, it affects depression. I mean, it affects everything, because if you're not working, you're not getting paid, you're not making money, you can't take care of your bills, you can't feed your family, you can't feed yourself. I mean, you can't take care of the simple necessities, and especially with the government had been shut down for the last 34, 35 days or so. It takes a toll on those that use government assistance for the necessities. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, because not everybody is at that same point to where, hey, you know what, that ties into sometimes you just need a little extra help. I'm not going to really get into a big subject like that, because I'm not here to talk politics. I'm here to talk, hey, inspiration and motivation. I mean, back to what I was saying about being unemployed. I've been there multiple times, from when I was younger up until maybe 6 years ago, and it's a matter of, you just can't quit. I mean, for the longest I was unemployed, and I told myself, man, I'm only gonna accept a job that's paying me over $22, $23 an hour. I'm not gonna accept anything less than that. It has to be an oil field job, or it has to be this kind of job. I have to be working with these kind of people, these kind of hours, and boom. What do you do when you make all these demands? Is that you limit your choices. You're not helping anybody, because you may find that one little job, they're like, oh, well, you're currently unemployed, so hey, let's give this job to somebody who's coming over from switching their job. And it's a sad reality. I mean, it's easier to find a job while you have a job, but not everybody has that same privilege. Not everybody has that same satisfaction. And so, I mean, if there's anybody here watching this video that's going through a phase of unemployment, and just keep trying. Sometimes you have to take on a job that you don't necessarily want to do for the time being. That way you're able to take care of those simple necessities. You're able to pay your light bill. You're able to get food on the table for your kids. You're able to maintain that roof over your head, protect you from the elements of the outside. There's there's nothing wrong with working at a fast food restaurant, or working at little short end job just to make ends meet, and I mean, there's people living paycheck to paycheck every day, and there's nothing wrong with that. I've been there. I've done that. I'm blessed now to have this new career here in the Army, and it's really given me, shined the light on me, and I'm here trying to spread this wisdom and spread my experiences to other people, and help them get through any kind of maybe spiritual or emotional ruts they may be in. Scrolling down, looking at some more of these choices. Uh, let's see. Personal stories that I can relate to. There's been plenty of there's been plenty of times where I've struggled. I've gone through things. I mean, I get back to when I was 18, 19 years old. I was working a warehouse job, and I got caught up in making big money. Um, I got caught up in trying to live the fast life, out partying with my friends. I got caught up in trying to um, trying to trying to keep on with what the world was doing, and it boom, I got laid off, and it kind of it affects you because you're not able to make your car payments, you're not able to make your rent payments, you're not able to do a number of things in it, and it doesn't matter how embarrassing it is to say this stuff, but because people are going through this stuff. This stuff is real life. This is not a joke. This is not a game. This is not something to be embarrassed about. It's stuff that you're really going through because you got to get through your life. We're all going to go through hardships in our life, and there's programs in place, there's plans in place, there's people in place to help you when you go through those moments. But you have to be willing to ask. You have to be willing to swallow your pride and say, "Hey, can you help me?" You got to be willing to stick your hand out. And when somebody does stick their hand out, you can't take advantage of that to the point where you lose that out. I mean, there's so many times where people offer to help, but the people end up taking advantage of it. And you're like, oh, you know what? I can't help nobody when they're in this position because of what happened to me before. And it's sad to say, but it's hard. It's hard out here living in the world. I mean, we got so many people here straight out of high school that are getting their first taste of real life, and it's sad. It's sad that that this is how they're making their first step. Not necessarily joining the military, but it's sad that they haven't been through some of the struggles that some of us other people have, and so it tends to be a difference in not just necessarily the generations, but there tends to be a difference in the mindsets, so to say. Because I remember when I was fresh out of high school, I was like, oh, I was out for this, out for that. I can do anything I can because I was I played sports in high school, and boom, my mindset was above the roof, above the level that I was at in real time. And it took me struggling, it took me going through stuff, it took me dealing with loss, it took me dealing with things that were out of my control to realize that, hey, life is too short. I need to take advantage of what it is that I got going on. I mean, going back to another personal story, I mean, people that have followed me for a while, people that have been part of my life for a while, they already know that I lost both of my parents within the last 2016 and 2017, within a year of each other. And it's tough to deal with it. There's days here where I'm kind of, hey, I'm kind of down. I kind of go through things that kind of remind you of things you do, or boom, you know what? I just maxed out this PT test. Let me call my mom and call my dad and see how proud you are. You realize that you can't do that stuff. But then there's times where I look back and I'm like, you know what? I get complimented on my manners. I get complimented on my work ethic. I get complimented on my hard work, and I'm like, you know what? I look up and I say, this is what they did for me. And so, and I just want to say, you have to value your parents, value your elders, value those who are trying to give you the experience from things that they've gone through. We all think it's a joke and stuff like that, and they tell you back in my time, this and that, and I used to, when I was younger, I used to be like, oh, things aren't like they were back then, back when you were doing this, and I was exactly right, but not in the correct way, because just because things aren't the exact same way they were last year or 2 years ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago doesn't mean the things that they've been through don't pertain to you. Because even the way things were 5 years ago, that could explain why certain people are treating you a certain way, or certain people are saying certain things, or it could be the reason why the society sees things the way they do now. I mean, as a society, we've grown, but also as a society, we've gotten away from the simple things. We use our smartphones, we use social media for everything, and I mean, I'm a prime example here right now. I mean, I'm using social media to try and embrace the. I'm using social media to try and embrace the younger generation, the older generations. I'm using it to try and spread what I've gone through, and not necessarily to tell people how to live their life, but to offer that helping hand to people who don't want to ask for it, but they want to look for it. It's just a matter of you have to be willing to step outside the box and be like, hey, you know what? Even though you're here, hey, I'm gonna reach out to you and I'm gonna see what it is possible that I can do. I mean, lastly, kind of running on with this one, I'm gonna have to go make it the next episode and kind of come and kind of talk about each one of these subjects one by one and give maybe a little personal story from that, simple for each one, and kind of see if that might be a little bit better. But just kind of even this whole thing is a learning experience for me, because I've always been the type that I prefer to write stuff down. Hey, somebody asks me for advice, I'm gonna write it down or I'll text it to them. I've never been much of a talker, but looking at I watch a lot of motivational speeches by military veterans, by current military. I listen to a lot of motivational speeches by Eric Thomas, Will Smith, actors and stuff like that. But I kind of wanted to take a simpler approach to that, not necessarily a real world approach, but I wanted to see if my approach to some of the things that I've been through could relate to touch as many people as they have. And I just want to leave you with, back to what I was saying before, is no matter what it is you're going through in life, reach out to a friend, reach out to me, reach out to any one of my friends, any one of my battle buddies here, and we'll take care of you. I mean, it's the whole reason I joined the military. I wanted to stand for a bigger cause. I wanted to be part of something bigger, and it's, even though I'm just now here in training, if I can touch people's lives now, and they can see the lives that I can touch when we get out there, no matter what it is that our mission is, that's our first mission, is to complete the mission. That if you can't complete the mission that you set out to do, then nothing else is going to go your way. And so, my ultimate mission is to leave behind a legacy for myself, for my kids, for my family, and because I'm not worried about what it is that I'm doing in my life now, but I wanna be to that point where I can sit down towards the end of my life, and I can sit down and start writing through the things that I've been through, and boom, even once I'm gone, my legacy still lives on, because the legacy is gonna last forever. All these temporary things, money, fame, that stuff eventually runs out. But when you leave a legacy behind, and you leave something behind that people can relate to, that's gonna live far greater than anything. And so, I mean, Sunday, here it is, Saturday, about 15:45, and hey, somebody needs to hear this, but hey, have a great day. You're doing great at everything you do. It don't matter what you're going through. It doesn't rain forever. Keep your head up, stay positive, and don't be afraid, don't be embarrassed to ask for help. We've all been there, we've all done that. We'll all go through more struggles in life, no matter how positive a path that we're going through. We're gonna struggle, and you know what? If we have a good support system behind us, we have a good support system in front of us, we'll get through it. Have a good rest of your day.